Welcome to our podcast on a fascinating historical event, the year without a summer in 1816. I'm Amara, and joining me today is Kai. We'll be exploring how a volcanic eruption on the other side of the world led to global climate disruption and far-reaching consequences.
That's right, Amara. It's an incredible example of how interconnected our planet's systems are. To start us off, can you tell us what exactly happened in 1816?
Certainly, Kai. In 1816, much of the northern hemisphere experienced unusually cold temperatures and severe weather patterns. Frost and snow occurred in June and July in parts of North America and Europe. Crops failed, leading to widespread food shortages and famine. At the time, people didn't understand the cause of this climate anomaly.
It must have been terrifying for people to experience such extreme weather without knowing why. So what was the actual cause?
The culprit was a massive volcanic eruption that had occurred the previous year, in 1815. Mount Tambora, located on the island of Sumbawa in present-day Indonesia, erupted with incredible force. It was one of the most powerful volcanic events in recorded history.
Fascinating. Can you give us an idea of the scale of this eruption?
Absolutely. The Tambora eruption ejected an estimated 150 cubic kilometers of rock and ash into the atmosphere. To put that in perspective, it was about 100 times larger than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. The explosion was heard over 2,000 kilometers away, and ash fell at least 1,300 kilometers from the volcano.
That's truly mind-boggling. But how did an eruption in Indonesia affect the climate so far away in Europe and North America?
Great question, Kai. The key lies in the sulfur dioxide gas released by the eruption. When this gas reached the stratosphere, it oxidized to form sulfuric acid aerosols. These tiny particles spread globally, reflecting sunlight back into space and cooling the Earth's surface.
I see. So it wasn't the ash itself that caused the global cooling, but rather these sulfuric acid aerosols. How long did these effects last?
The cooling effects persisted for several years, with 1816 being the most severe. Global temperatures dropped by an estimated 0.4 to 0.7 degrees Celsius on average. While that might not sound like much, it led to significant disruptions in weather patterns and agricultural cycles.
What were some of the specific impacts of this year without a summer?
The impacts were wide-ranging and severe. In North America and Europe, crop failures led to food shortages and price increases. There were reports of frost in July in New England, and snow fell in June in New York and Maine. In Europe, the cold and wet conditions led to failed harvests and famine. The disruptions contributed to economic downturns and social unrest in many areas.
That sounds devastating. Were there any unexpected consequences or silver linings to this climate disaster?
Interestingly, yes. The gloomy weather in Switzerland that summer is said to have inspired Mary Shelley to write her Gothic novel Frankenstein. The vivid sunsets caused by the atmospheric particles may have influenced the works of J.M.W. Turner and other artists. In North America, the harsh conditions in New England spurred westward migration, contributing to the settlement of the American Midwest.
It's remarkable how a single event can have such diverse and far-reaching effects. What lessons can we draw from the year without a summer that are relevant today?
There are several important takeaways, Kai. First, it highlights the interconnectedness of global climate systems. An event in one part of the world can have significant impacts elsewhere. Second, it demonstrates the vulnerability of our food systems to climate disruptions. Finally, it underscores the importance of understanding past climate events to better prepare for future possibilities, including potential climate engineering proposals that mimic volcanic cooling effects.
Those are crucial points, Amara. As we face the challenges of anthropogenic climate change, the lessons from 1816 seem more relevant than ever. Thank you for this fascinating discussion on the year without a summer.
You're welcome, Kai. It's a reminder of the power of natural forces and the importance of scientific understanding in interpreting and responding to environmental changes. Thank you all for listening to our podcast on this remarkable historical event.